Humans. I hope you're starting to get a little bit used to that. And I hope that you start saying humans more often, because I think that's one of the bigger struggles that we have is over-identifying with certain attributes rather than our humanity. Our humanity is what binds us all. Our humanity. This is our humanity. And we have these thin layers on top of that core, that big core of our humanity, this thing that we all share, okay? And then we have things like color and sex and preferences and all those kinds of things, intelligence and weight and hair color, all of those are attributes, okay? Those are attributes. They're kind of very superficial layers, but the big thing that binds us all together, that you can take a lot of comfort in if you will bring down the temperature and breathe. Breathe. The shared humanity that we have is really, for me, it can be a great comfort. So I hear a lot of black professionals talking lately about their experience in white corporate culture. And a lot of the complaints that I hear and a lot of the experiences that they report, I am here to say, are human struggles more than they are black struggles. They are human struggles. Yeah. Breathe. Just for a few minutes, I really, really need for you to try and not be reactive and say, you're lying, you've got an agenda, you're just trying to say something. Breathe. And just listen, okay? Just listen. The corporate culture is not hospitable for most humans, regardless of their color. It is a one-eyed monster. Corporations are one-eyed monsters, and that eye is seeking profitability, because if it does not profit, it will not survive. This one-eyed monster must survive. And the only way it survives is by finding profit. Okay? And so that's its orientation. It must find profit, and it wants to do that in as efficient a manner as possible in order to achieve that profit and to maximize that profit. And the way that that is achieved is by looking at humans as parts of a machine. Now, some corporations that I have worked with pull this off better than others. They have a culture that is more humane. And then I have seen others that are like a meat grinder. And you just throw humans into it, and you hope they can help keep the machine going for long enough until you use them up and you toss them away. That's a human thing. Well, what did you know? I know more than you. I'm 62 goddamn years old. I have worked with the biggest corporations in the world. I've observed them. My neighbors, my friends, most of my neighbors and friends who are about my age, and I've known them for many, many years. They've had these jobs in these white corporations. I talk to them. They cry on my shoulder. They tell me about almost everything that black professionals are reporting as struggles within these white corporations that they're in. I've yet to hear one single complaint that I haven't heard from a white person. I didn't get the job. Okay. I didn't get the promotion. I didn't get the raise. It's because I'm black. There were 10 people who were roughly qualified for that position. A lot of them had many of the same metrics, many of the same performance metrics, the experience. Give some respect, okay? You're not the one and only superior, head and shoulders above everybody else. There's a lot of competition in these environments. There are a lot of qualified people chasing that raise, chasing that position. There just are. And when there are in a department where there are all white people, and there's one position that's up for, that needs to be filled, and there are 10 people in that division that are roughly qualified for it, in a white corporation of all white people, only one person's going to get that job. And there are going to be 9 people who thought they should have. And they don't get to say it was racism. They just have to go. It'll be something else. It'll be, oh, I've had issues with them. Oh, they don't like me. I'm too pretty. I'm too aggressive. I'm too this. I'm too that. You'll come up with their excuse, but they cannot use white. But let me return to my primary observation, is that when it comes to black professionals reporting their struggles being in white corporations, I have yet to hear a single complaint that I have not heard from white people. A young man that I heard lately, more recently, was talking about some jobs with some, I think he had a job with one of the big 5 consultancies, and he also then worked for a couple of the really biggest technology companies that everybody knows about. And he said, for the first couple of months, it was great. They brought me in and they kind of held my hand and taught me the ropes, and, they were there to support me, and they were there to do, make sure I succeeded. And man, it was just really warm and kumbaya. Yeah. And then after a few months, it's like all that stopped. You think that was because you were black that all that stopped? No, that stopped because when we put humans into a position, professional humans, especially if you're in your 30s or your 40s, when you're in your 20s, I expect to have to hold your hand for a long time. 30s and 40s, I'm going to give you a little on-ramp. I'm going to let you on-ramp into this position. I'm going to help you. I'm going to kind of grease the skids and kind of help you out and do introductions and do all the things that I need to do to help get you up to speed. Then you got to fly on your own, baby. I don't have time I've got 100 other people. I don't have time to look at each and every person. We got shit to do. And we need people who can operate as autonomously as possible. They can stand on their own and do the thing that we hired them to do without a lot of extra support. That's not a black thing. That is just a human thing. And don't expect me to want to do even more than that I would do for a white person just because you're black. I want you to hold my hand longer. I want you to be even more sensitive. I want you... No. Brothers, sisters, humans. That's just not the way corporations make their money. By being sensitive to every little nuance. By knowing what your family situation is, by knowing what your, relationship, struggle is, by understanding your trauma. This is not that. That's for your therapist's office. That's for your conversations with your friends and family. That is not something that needs to be a regular topic of conversation in your job. Just not. We're here to do this job. What else? The backbiting, the competition. Do you know the number of stressed out white folks that I talk to? All the time. They hire me to help them save their jobs. We've got to move this new. If we do not introduce this new product line successfully, that's my ass. That's what the senior vice president tells me. We have got to do this, or it's my ass. You think he stares at the ceiling fan in the middle of the night, while he's lying in bed worrying about that? Yeah. He does. She does. They're stressed the fuck out. I know white folks who are working 60, 70, 80 hours a week. That is very taxing on the human, not just a white human or a black human. And that is the expectation. White people working in a system that they largely designed, their culture largely designed, they are expected to follow the rules and to understand that system and to operate within those parameters and just go out and make shit happen. I don't want to hear you crying. No one wants to hear any person crying, complaining, blaming. I don't care what color you are, Show me the money. Scoreboard. Did you do it? Did you meet your quota or did you not meet your quota? And I'm telling you that when a white executive sits down for a performance review, if they don't have the numbers, they don't have the numbers. It's cold out there. It is cold-hearted in these environments. And you want warmth and sensitivity and thoughtfulness. You got to understand the animal you're messing with. It's a beast. A non-sensitive beast. Again, there are cultures. Certain companies build cultures that are more thoughtful. And I've worked with some of those corporations, and one in particular I have in mind that I think does a wonderful job, although lately it's been doing some mess I don't agree with. But by and large, the black professionals that I see in that environment, and I don't see them every single day, but the interactions I have with them, just the sense of the general esprit de corps, the energy that they bring to their job. And I'm on big meetings, big Zoom meetings, with 20 people from around the world, and I hear them all talking. And now some of it is performative, right? We're a good team player, got to be positive, all that. So that's part of the culture. But I can tell when people are putting on a front and when people are like, you seem pretty happy with your work. You seem pretty happy with this 30-year career that you've built at this big corporation. Yeah. And many of them are. I think a lot of them are from an older generation. I think a lot of the folks who have found it easier to find their way through white corporate environments are usually an older generation, my age. That's because the younger generation has seen a cultural shift that is less about assimilation and more about individuation. It is less about how well I am able to blend into this existing culture and more about how can I retain my own individuality in this culture. Culture does not like these kinds of things. These corporate cultures don't like things sticking up. That snags things, that slows processes, it drains energy. They like this. They like everything kind of fitting together. So when you're up here I'm an individual and I need this special consideration, I need these special things. It's not a strong position to operate from. Just not. Because you're expecting things that other people don't expect. I'm having to give you more attention, more support than I'm having to give these other folks who aren't asking for a lot of that stuff. That makes you are more expensive when I have to spend more of my time attending to your specific needs that you think are so critical. We are here in this corporation. I'm talking about mythically. We are here in this corporation to profit. If you can help us profit, you help us survive and thrive. And if you aren't going to help us profit because you aren't doing your job as well, or you're complaining, or you're doing whatever, those other things that distract from you putting points on the scoreboard, those things are not going to work to your advantage. Put points on the board. That's what you are hired to do. Put points on the board. Plain and simple. Don't want to hear excuses. Look, shit happens. Problems come up. We'll solve problems. Then I need you to get back up, dust yourself off, and put more points on the board. Period. Okay? Because that's what the white folks are having to do. And it is very, very, and everybody else. Don't think that you are having this extraordinary black experience that no one else can relate to. Every other human in that fucking environment can relate to it because it is a difficult environment for humans to be in. And they are struggling with many of the exact things that you are struggling with. And at the point that you decide that you want to meet them on that common ground, instead of calling yourself out for this skin color thing or this culture thing, this is the culture that matters. In the corporation, the corporation's culture is what matters, not your racial culture. Now, our corporation culture should be sensitive, but we cannot cater but so much to your individual thing. We are here to achieve these corporate goals. You gotta it's not sensitive, it's not thoughtful, it's not soft, it's not sweet. It's not warm and inviting. It's a machine, and you are operating in a machine. And if you don't like being in machines, then you should not be in that. You should not expect to find happiness in that environment if you don't like machinery. I didn't. I worked for a corporation for a very, very short time, early in my life, a very large one, and I felt utterly, utterly dehumanized. And nothing that I have experienced in the 40 years since then, working with a lot of big corporations, has really changed that perception a lot. Now, I know a lot of very successful folks who have enjoyed their careers and have found a way to kind of put it in its place. They've made peace with this beast, and they found a way to make it work for them. But some of that is just kind of coming up with a mentality. So you go, it's not perfect, but it's pays the bills. I got to keep on going. That's the human experience of this stuff. And I think at the point that you meet people at the human thing, that'll be helpful. This gentleman that I was listening to was also reporting about the way that they expected him to fill the role, the way they wanted him to do his job. Okay. Well, that should have probably been pretty apparent during the interview process had you been asking the right questions. There should be no great surprise about a lot of these things. Now, once you get into the job, obviously, things surface that you weren't expecting, but by and large, part of your job as a job seeker is to ask the right questions so that you aren't caught off by surprise. Oh, you want me to do this thing with my left hand? I'm right-handed. I can't do that. I'm right-handed. And you've got this left-handed job. Well, you should have gone in asking whether this is a right-handed or a left-handed job. That should not be a surprise to you when you land in that position. But his thing was that, he was expected to do his job in a certain way, and he'd gotten some feedback that he wasn't kind of doing it the way that they expected him to do it. They wanted him to be more vocal, more proactive, more engaged, more enthusiastic, and he was just like, that's just not the way I am. Okay. All right. Well, you may not succeed in that environment then, if that's what they want. And, he said, so I have my own way of doing it. Look, if you shoot your free throw like this, if you can sink if you can sink 80% of your free throws, 90% of your free throws doing this, have at it, baby. It looks janky to me. I like this. I like that kind of shot. But if this is your thing and you can hit 8%, have at it. I just don't see a lot of new. I don't see a lot of new wheels being invented in a lot of these roles, though. And so, you wanting to come in and kind of bring your own unique approach to it, and don't expect me to be like everybody else. I'm not a, I'm not a, I'm going to bring my blackness into this thing. Okay, all right. I had an experience with that a couple of times, where I had a black employee say, look, I gave her an assignment. This is what needs to be done. I need a strategy, and I need a plan, and I need a lot of detail and a lot of things for a big campaign we were doing. And she said, well, I want to do it differently. And I said, well, here's what I expect. Ultimately, I need to be able to take this strategy. I need to sell it through to our client. I need to sell it. First, you need to sell it to me. It needs to make sense to me. And it needs to be something that I think is going to work. Okay. You are how old? 27. Okay. And I am in my 50s at the time. I've been doing this a long time. I know this industry, and I know these clients, and I know that what they will sell, what they will buy from me, and what they won't buy from me. Don't give me some shit I can't sell to them. I've hired you to give me stuff that I can sell to them, to provide stuff I can sell to them. So she wanted to do it her own way, and it was a very different way than any process that I had seen before. But I'm a creative. She was a creative, and I wanted to be cool. All right. This was back in the Black Girl Magic era. All right, do your thing. A week went by, and I saw a lot of kind of very unusual kinds of approaches. All right, how we doing? Oh, it's okay, it's okay. All right, I need to see something. I need to see some progress. Yeah, but it's the timing, and it's the this, and you don't. No, I understand. Here's what you don't understand, is I have to have this thing, this plan, I have to sell it to the client next week. And time's burning. And I still don't have anything to give them. So you need to do your thing. Whatever that thing you've got, do that thing, because we got to sell. A couple of days later, where is it? Well, this is really complicated. Yeah, I know it's complicated. I hired you to do complicated stuff. You said that you had done complicated stuff before. I expect you to do that now. Where's the work? The next day, I finally get some of it. And it just was not usable. It was not a usable work product. Okay? It was nothing that I could sell to my client. Now, if I don't sell, this was a big part of this engagement that this client was paying us a lot of money for. And your part of this process is really, really important. And if we don't fulfill, that deliverable is not handed over, and we aren't able to take action on that strategy and on that plan successfully, we will lose this account. I take that personally. This is my company. This is how I feed my children. We are not going to lose this account. And I don't care who you are, what your process is, what you believe my sensitivity should be. Show me the work. I need work I can sell. So I sent it back to the drawing boards. Now I'm getting stressed out. I gave you plenty of space to do this special kind of cultural thing that you wanted to do. I gave you plenty of space, more space than I would give people on average. And then I expected you to deliver. A human who doesn't deliver is a human who doesn't deliver, whether that's a white human or a black human. You happen to be a black human that did not deliver. Bye. Bye. You are not going to sink my ship. Now, was I being racist? I wanted you to succeed. I really, really did. One of the reasons I hired you was because you were black. One of the reasons I hired you is because you were a woman, a black woman. One of the reasons that I hired you is because I thought that your perspective, a different perspective, could bring something new to the table that would be valuable to me, to my company, and to our client. That's what I expected you to do. I didn't get that. Human. I didn't get that. I didn't get the thing I paid for. Do not attribute to racism what is better explained by garden variety human fuckery. Do not believe that the levers and gears of power are perfectly efficient and that it works in a way that is always thoughtful and always precise. No, it's sloppy. It's sausage factory stuff because it's human stuff. Bad decisions are made. People are petty. People are jealous. People are disappointing. People are inspiring. Humans do a lot of kind of stuff. And if you're simply looking it through this narrow prism of racism, rather than understanding that, God damn, it's hard being human. And it's really hard being human in an environment, in a corporate environment that is not designed to optimize for human thriving. It's optimized for financial performance, for profit making. If you aren't ready to sign up for that kind of environment, you need to be someplace else. Go find a nonprofit. Go work at a church. Go work in a place that has those things that you champion. The sensitivity, the thoughtfulness, the cultural, all that. Go find that. You probably won't make as much money. Okay? So one of the reasons that people sign up for this bitter experience is that they get paid handsomely to do it. That's why they're willing to just keep your mouth shut and keep on working every day for decades till they can finally retire. I wanted no part of that. I saw it. I see it even to this day. As I said, most of my neighbors, most of my friends work for large corporations. I hear them talking about the same things you're talking about. Now, are they talking about, it's through the lens of blackness? No, I haven't heard a lot of that. I've heard my black white-collar friends talk about frustrations, but most of them have the big picture in mind. They've zoomed out to know that, yes, racism is a real thing, and it does happen even at the highest levels of C-suite and big corporations. It absolutely does happen, but it is not a driving force. It's just not a driving force. They understand that there are bigger driving forces. There are personality conflicts. There's competition. There's conniving. It is rough, man. The conniving stuff that I hear people talk about, the backstabbing and the white people doing it to white people. And you come in and you're surprised that it happens to you. Why are you doing all this to me? No. I wish you could go into this environment for a week or so as a white person. And I think you'd come back and say, damn, I thought they had a lot easier than I did. We're all kind of fucked, aren't we? Yeah, we're all kind of fucked. It is inhospitable. With exceptions. There are I know certain people who just love their corporate careers. I find it, I have a strong reaction to it. That's why I've owned my own company for all of my life. And that's what I recommend to you. If you find this environment so painful as a black person, if you find it so insensitive and so inhumane to you, I suggest you do what I did. I wanted no part of it, so I just started my own company. Good luck with that too. Good luck with that too. That ain't easy. None of this is easy. Being a human is not easy. I'm going to wrap it up, but I do want you to try an experiment. Please, please, please. First of all, as I tell my children and almost anyone who will listen, one of the best and most powerful things you can learn to do in life is to breathe. When you're getting stressed, when you're feeling emotions and overwhelm and all of that kind of stuff coming up, breathe. Okay? Oh, zoom out and see the human condition for what it is. And just for a day or a week, if you can manage it, put the pause button on "that's racism" and replace it with "that's people" or "humans." Instead of fucking white people, fucking black people, fucking Mexicans, fucking. Why don't you try this one on for size? Fucking humans. We're all in it together. Yes, I understand that there are particularities to the black experience. Based on most of the videos that I'm watching from black people, men, women, in different corporate environments talking about their things, I'm telling you, I have not heard anything that I haven't heard white people say, except for, the accusations of race. Although, we're going to start hearing that more often. Now with DEI, white people are actually saying, I didn't get the job because I was white. Yeah, so interesting reversal of fortune. It's a human thing. Let's meet there. Peace.